Hi, this is AJ
This is
from India, and that is Steven from Seattle. We are going to report news from last week, and we've
fun.
not prepared anything, so it's going to be random. I let Steven take over for now.
Sure. All right. We went through the interwebs and found a few interesting articles, starting with the facts that the world is drier, at least last year, than before. That kind of sucks. World Meteorological Organizations who said that, and they sound like they might have an idea of what they're talking about. Primarily African rivers are seeing below average water flow. They do note that some rivers in North Americas did have higher than average water flow. But really, the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this article is just the inadequate access to water that seems to be just a pandemic of its own accord. Apparently, 3.6 billion people have inadequate access to water at least a month a year. That's half of humanity, essentially.
Holy fuck,
That's fucking ridiculous. I don't know how we're still
40% at
doing
least.
this. Yeah, at least 40%.
I
And
mean, it's Africa. It's gonna have a lot of people. So is Asia.
yeah, I suppose, but you think we would have figured out some of these problems by now. I suppose they're not on anyone's priority list since the same team projects that 5 billion people will be without adequate access to water by the middle of this century. Excellent.
Interesting.
Yeah, obviously climate change is a shit show and we're going to get more intense frequent droughts, more intense storms and flooding, uh, bigger melting of our glaciers, and all of that affects us. Like there's no other planet that we can go to right now. And it's going to be a really fucking long time before Mars is remotely stable for the smartest people in the world, let alone your Uncle Joe from down the street. So it's in our benefit to figure out the water crisis before it becomes a water war. Yeah, I think that's what I have to say about this one.
Interesting.
Yeah, really, we have a lot of concerns here as we see rising temperatures and more melting ice and more extreme weather. Just in the short time I've lived in Seattle, I've seen the weather getting more extreme, and that is a bit disconcerting for a place that I would consider so temperate and mild. What are your thoughts on the water crisis, AJ?
Well, it's distressing, and so is humanity. But
Yeah.
I blame the baby boomers, but that's my personal opinion.
How did they mess this up?
Well, the regulations were not enforced in time, and now we are left with this depleting reserves, all going down back to the policies from when the Industrial Revolution started.
Sure. I'm gonna blame them because they didn't figure out desalination in a way that's
That too.
efficacious enough to sustain water production from the ocean. Though I suppose we could blame everyone. Uh,
Let's blame everyone. Let's not
yeah.
take the responsibility. Always a good way we
Kick the can
can.
down the road.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, when in doubt, blame Canada. So, speaking of countries without a purpose, North Korea is now boasting
Oh,
that they have a more powerful nuclear force again. Dear little leader is threatening intercontinental ballistic missile once again,
you
talking
mean
about.
the one whose name cannot be said? CNN said it, but I won't.
Oh, are you afraid of saying Kim Jong Un? See your
Yes,
Voldemort?
worse.
Well, yeah, he treats his people like garbage, but
You can escape Hogwarts, but you cannot say the same about North Korea, can you?
yeah, it's really hard to escape North Korea. That's some fascist shit. So they want everyone to believe that they have like the world's best weapons, the world's strongest military. Like, I don't want them to start a war, but I also don't want them to be snuffed out because there's a lot of good people that live there, and this guy just sucks. Like most situations, it's not the people that are bad, it's their selfish asshole leaders. I hope one day can help out North Korea and have them live fulfilling lives that aren't focused around worshiping their leader and trying to murder everyone else.
That sounds like a lot like US under Trump.
How so?
Most powerful weapons, worshipping the leader.
Yeah, don't they actually think of their leader as a god? Like, I think this is a little bit different. Like, the GOP certainly provided lots of deference and pseudo worship to Trump, and he used a lot of this language which Kim Jong Un has certainly taken a liking to. And as we heard from President
I
Trump,
would give
they fell
I'd
in
give you
love.
that. You could at least escape the US.
That too, but you can't escape Earth,
You cannot. That's true.
at least
Yeah.
so far.
Unless Elon Musk gets his way and he stops fucking Twitter up.
Do you want him to launch Twitter into the
I
low
want him
Earth
to start.
orbit?
I want him to stop fucking with Twitter and start fucking, like get serious about Mars rover or whatever the shit he was doing with getting us into space, or himself at least, creating a pathway.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. I am apprehensive there. I do think that he's not gonna be risking his skin. He's gonna be risking the guy getting 40 grand a year, and that
Yeah,
sucks.
I guess I'll be willing to be the monkey that goes on the spacecraft.
So you want to be the first people to go to Mars?
I don't blame. I'm actually sick and tired of Earth. So much shit is happening around.
Oh, I agree. It's awful, but there's no backup on Mars. Shit goes wrong, you're just dead. It's like Oregon Trail out there.
Mm, true.
Could you imagine Mars dysentery? Probably way worse.
Without gravity.
Less gravity.
Yeah,
Although the
that's what I
trip
got.
there, 18 months of like no gravity. Yeah, so we don't know if North Korea can do shit yet. We'll see.
Hmm.
Hopefully not in a bad way though.
Look, that's China. Always,
Yeah,
always in the
China
news.
China
What's the deal?
doing more incredible things. I'm waiting for them to take over as the number one superpower.
Aren't they already?
I don't think it's been asserted. I
Nah,
think it's been
nah.
implied. If they crack fusion before us, yes, they will have won. However, this is absolutely a show of power. The fact that they have created their own space station, very likened to the ISS, which this article tells me China was excluded from in 2011. And apparently, this will be the second crew that's going up there. So they'll be handing off from the first crew that was living there already. And
I mean, that's their way of flipping off NASA, I feel.
it really is.
Huh,
But
cool.
I guess it depends how they go about it, what they say, because they don't have to flip off NASA. In some ways, the success does that on its own.
Interesting.
So I'm curious where China goes from here. They do have a lot of very intelligent people working on some incredibly impressive technology. I am curious where they are in perspective of the current missions that we're doing worldwide and even just in the United States.
China's plans.
Yeah, yeah. Dr. Christian Feichtinger,
I give up.
yeah, said that the world's actually watching China's growing space capabilities. I agree. I think that this is showing some really, really huge promise, and we will see where they go from here. They're doing a lot of the similar stuff that we have been doing. In
Maybe China could
the
be
West.
gateway to Mars.
That's the other thing is the US isn't just racing the European Space Agency or Russia. They're racing China at this point. And if
Whatever
we're
is
not
happening in Russia.
yeah, if we're not to collaborate, this does become a interesting situation that could become contentious. And I'm curious what the future of space travel looks like. I sincerely hope that there is no sort of conflict in space, a place that is supposed to be free of such
Mhm.
absurdity. However, we are human beings, so a good chance that we're going to fuck that up.
That.
Yeah,
Huh.
you'll be able to tell us because apparently you want to go to Mars. You see how many Chinese people you meet.
Uh, I don't know. Let's see. Request remote control. We're moving
Take it
on.
away.
I am not able to. Oh, there you go. I did. Awesome.
Yeah,
So
bring us the
we
lighter
will
topics.
do. Yeah, it's time for those. Alrighty, so from now we have, moving on, we've had enough of space travel, North Korea, and dry climate. We'll have Fashion Week from Vietnam. International Fashion Week resuming after 2 years because of COVID. And we have designers from Singapore, Indonesia, Haiti, France, and Italy. Seems like a truly global event. And that too in Ho Chi Minh, Hanoi. So yeah, that's actually one of the places I want to go. I have been to Ho Chi Minh City, but not Hanoi.
Oh, I was about to ask that.
Yeah, I missed it. I cussed myself, but I missed it. So the theme was Taste of Heritage. Features from 18 designers and brands in Vietnam and overseas. That's interesting. Like I would not like that actually tells you like so much shit is happening all over the world and like it's truly impressive because something like that I would not expect from Vietnam. Maybe like Thailand and Indonesia, yes, but that's truly impressive. And
Yeah,
it's apparently the 14th edition.
that's amazing.
Hmm. Yeah, and this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So I have been very sheltered, I feel.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's the beautiful thing about the internet these days and being able to share information is it cures ignorance a little bit, at least. Or it has
Yeah,
the opportunity to do that. And you get to see contributions from all over the world that show, their own versions of brilliance and creativity, talent, however you want to look at it. It's neat to be exposed to things that aren't just Western culture.
true that. And yes, another thing is it is the fourth one in Asia after Tokyo, Seoul, and Shanghai.
Nice.
Hmm. Seems like Vietnam is trying to butt heads with the superpowers in Asia.
Good luck with that.
Uh, I won't discount them.
I have no idea what to think.
But for some reason, I have decided to stick to Vietnamese Express International Paper. I feel I said it correct. The name is correct. I feel if not, I apologize. But moving on, at least some good is coming out of World Cup. At least for the TV companies, the sales have soared up. Yes, like there have been reports about human rights issues. There have been reports about how people have not been treated well. There has been unfairness. But at least TV companies are getting a good words of their mouth. No
You
one
can
gives a
get a
fuck about
TV
anything
for the
else.
yeah, you can get a TV for the
Yeah.
price. of how many
Of a
people died
human. Think
building the
of
stadiums.
exactly. That's what matters. Who gives a fuck about humans? I first get so essentially the sales have risen up 60% since last week, and that's exactly the time of the World Cup. And the most popular this year are 55 and 65-inch TVs.
I respect that.
Yeah,
It's an
interesting.
appropriate size.
I mean, I
Uh,
think, yeah, that's pretty much the value of a human being, I feel.
yeah, it seems about
I
it.
mean, right? It's like an equal weightage, right? 55-inch TV, 55-inch human. I'm
Yeah,
guessing that's the size of a regular human then. I'm just kidding.
I
Anyways,
mean,
a little under, maybe 65.
it's I find it interesting. The article said something to the extent that TV sales are less than 2018, but they made more money. This really speaks to inflation
Well,
as well.
inflation and oh yeah, holy
And
fuck,
I
that's
guess
true.
if TV size is larger than 4 years ago, they would also be more expensive. So makes sense.
And also the cell phones have picked up. Samsung and Xiaomi. Why
Xiaomi,
don't I see Apple or iPhone?
because they have a tiny market share.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the roundup for the news today. We have had TV sale, we have had Vietnamese Fashion Week,
Mhm.
we have had global water crisis, and of course we had news from North Korea and China, which you cannot really report news, international news without North Korea, China, and China.
Well, you do without North Korea. I feel like they show up just every once in a while. It's like it's the sideshow Bob of countries. Is that racist?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
Honestly,
don't
just
either, honestly.
insensitive.
Like, sure. Yeah, whatever. I guess
Yeah,
that's
thanks
what the
for
world is.
yeah, watching us
Well,
digest a
thanks
little
for
bit of
the
what's
news.
going on in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah. It was something. Our first
Cheers.
shot. Hopefully, we delivered some good news, if not a lot.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we will elaborate on our efforts and expand on them as the weeks go.
Yeah, we'll become
Looking
more
forward. Have a good
well-rounded.
day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Bye, y'all.
that too. Bye.